The new season can't come soon enough for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. A 2-10 campaign a year ago, their worst mark since 2002. Now Chris Ash tries to get things turned around in his second season on the banks as Rutgers looks to regain the form that saw the school make 9 bowl games in 10 years. And with that, we welcome you in. Stop number 4 on our tour. Dave Revson, Gerry DiNardo, and Howard Griffith. This We Saw program trying to get back on track today.
More players, deeper. Everyone knows the routine. You know, a lot of things that are typical of a second-year program. Some playmakers, you know, I think probably in every position. Depth's always a problem, but they've addressed that. The offensive line, defensive line probably is not where they want it to be quality-wise, top to bottom, but they certainly have the numbers.
And they've made some strides in the weight room, and I think that's one of the things that's always going to be important. They're taking those natural steps that they need to in the second year of a program, changing some things offensively, but in the weight room, that's something that they have laid the groundwork for, and we see the results. They've
adjusted defense a little bit as well to fit their personnel, and obviously Gerry Kill's changing the offense. So a little bit of new things, which you don't really like the second year, but sometimes they're necessary, and I think they were necessary for this program.
Well, and you have to address the issues, right? And there were a lot of issues. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. They were outscored by 274 points in their non-conference games. That was the biggest gap for any team by far in the country. So you guys mentioned a couple things, but dig into it more specifically. How do you go about closing that gap from year 1 to year 2 and moving forward?
Well, I think you look at the schedule. There's some teams on there that they're looking to match up with. You know, Gerry Kill, I think, gave us some great insight. He said we were like the second year that he was at Minnesota, and he would know. So there's teams on the schedule this year that if you look back when Minnesota was in their second year, that they could be very competitive. So how you close the gap, I think you have to win all or some of those matchup games.
In addition to that, you've got to be able to take care of the football. When you can take care of the football and you can have an option of punting, kicking a field goal, or an extra point, you're ahead of the game. You can't afford to turn the football over, and that's something that they had some issues with sometimes. But I think if they can control the line of scrimmage, is actually where they have to be better. It's going to take some time. Don't think they're there yet, but I think they're going to have an opportunity to do some better things.
They're going to slow the ball down on offense. You know, they're not going to be a hurry-up attack, you know, because Chris Ash knows they have to protect the defense that has made some changes and predicts to be better than last year. So I think clock management is an important thing to this. Keep your defense off the field as long as you can.
And obviously have to figure out some ways to score when the offense is on the field. They averaged fewer than 10 points per game in conference games last year, worse than the Big Ten in nearly 20 years. Enter Gerry Kill, someone who we know very well from his time at Minnesota. What did you see from Gerry Kill offensively, and how do you think he can help this program?
Well, it's not necessarily an explosive offense by design. I mean, it's obviously a good offense by design, but I see him ball control, win first down, move the chains, keep the defense off the field, strike with explosive plays in the pass game, a lot of zone schemes, a lot of gap schemes, you know, pretty much what it looked like they did at Minnesota, and he mentioned there's some Kansas State integrated into the offense as well.
Yeah, I think it's about playing power football as well. You know, quarterbacks got to be able to run the ball sometimes. They've got to be able to get really a lot of plays from the tailback position. Looks like they'll be able to do it, but it's controlling the game. You mentioned slowing it down. I think with personnel as well, they're going to, you'll talk about having 2, 3 tight ends on the field, fullback combinations, where they can be physical with the line of scrimmage and be able to move the ball.
And it did feel like, just in watching them today and comparing it to last year, there are more explosive players out here than there were a year ago. You know, Bo Melton is definitely a guy who's going to help. Edwards, no doubt, right away.
Absolutely.
Can contribute, and obviously has to contribute right away given his situation. So you do see a little bit more explosion offensively, but as you guys say, part of it is just controlling the ball, keeping the offense on the field, and by extension then keeping the defense off of it.